I used to be somebody before that freak Ayuz sent his army south and ruined everything. We had a nice racket going on in the land of the Freelords, or what the rest of the Flaness calls the Bandit Kingdoms. We had a territory we ran, and we hustled and stole what we could from who we could. Sure, we fought amongst ourselves, and I'd just as soon stick my dagger into someone from the Freelords as anywhere else. But we always banded together when an outside force threatened all of our businesses. But all that changed when Ayuz came a-calling. Half of the Freelords joined forces with Ayuz to save their skins, and the other half got wiped out or sent packing to the other lands, or down into the rift. I was no hero, and neither were any of my mates. So after the massacre of Steelbone Meadows, we did what any guys in our situation would have done. We hightailed it out of there. The only problem is that everywhere we went, there were old enemies waiting. After finally getting corralled by the Ernst soldiers, I was left to rot in a dungeon, waiting for them to decide what to do with me. The way the gods look at us, I don't think we're gonna like what it is they have in store.
You make pancakes.
And we're live. Hey, everybody. Welcome to Return to the Bandit Kingdom.
Hello. Hello, and
Hi.
welcome, everyone. I'm off kilter again.
Oh, for Christ's sake, man. I got a lot of shit to worry about. I gotta...
No, it's me. And
I can fix you. Just start talking. This is not good entertainment. This isn't what people
Hi, everyone.
are tuning in to see.
I'm Will DM. How are you? Hello, and welcome to Return to the Bandit Kingdoms. I am, of course, like I said, Will DM. I'll be your dungeon master for this glorious evening's events. And, oh, look at that. It's perfect now. I don't even need to touch it.
I know. See, the thing is, like, whether I fixed it or not, it was still going to distract you. Like, that's the...
I'm like a raccoon, man. All you gotta do is
Shall I
like...
drum some more?
Dun, 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 dun. Where was I? Oh yeah, hey, welcome to return to the Bandit Kingdoms. I am Will DM, your wondrous dungeon master for the evening. So far, we are running on only 3 cylinders instead of our regular 4 cylinders this evening. Jarrus is not here at the moment. It's possible that he will be tuning in later, but we shall see. So you just get us. Sorry. It's the way of things sometimes. And then Steve, of course, yawns. I'm sorry. I'm already boring people here.
No wonder Jarrus didn't show up.
I know. I take full responsibility for that. So since we've started off with Michael in the introductions the past couple of weeks, we're going to mix it up. And we're just going to go over to Steve. And we're going to start with Steve introducing himself.
Cool.
So go ahead and tell everybody who you are and what have you, man.
Well, I'm Steve, as was addressed. I am playing Wynden Frostfeld, not a great guy, but compared to the company he's been keeping lately, he actually seems like a decent individual. He's just trying to make it through this and hopefully get his soul back, and we'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
Hey, Steve, I have a question.
Yes.
On your wall, it says keep calm and DFTBA. What does that mean?
Oh, damn, that's in this. Shoot, hold on. Nope, wrong way.
There it is.
It's a thing from a thing called Nerd Fighters. It's
Keep calm and
Damn it. Okay, there we go.
Don't-
I like
don't
There we
fuck Tony, Barry Allen.
Don't forget to be awesome.
Oh.
Don't forget to be
awesome.
awesome.
Well, that's pretty
Aw,
cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there you go.
I like that. I
You
want
can
one
put that back in the shot. That
No,
works.
I've been instructed as to my my parameters that I accidentally breached them. So thank you.
Yeah, so not only did you breach them, but Michael pointed it out for everybody.
Yeah. Now you know we're going to talk about that alpha air, right? Okay, so let's continue on. We'll just slide across and go to Adam. It's your turn, sir.
Hey, everybody. As you may have heard, I'm Adam. I'm playing Talon Ravenguard, the reincarnated Silver Wolf.
Yeah, we can talk about that now.
Yeah, we can finally talk about it. It's been a while, but we can actually talk about it. Yeah, he's back, and there's some orcs to kill now. Are they hobgoblins? Are they orcs? They're hobgoblins.
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 Yes.
But you know what? There might
It
be an
doesn't
orc or two
matter.
in there. They're all the same.
Hobgoblins keep a much neater house.
Yeah.
So you got that going for you.
So he had a flood of memories come rushing back.
Yeah.
Um,
And I guess not to like totally jump in and steal your introduction here, but so the reason
But he's going to anyway.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So the reason for that is because and we touched on it just the smallest amount in last episode when I quizzed everybody about the Raven Queen, because the Raven Queen's job is she watches over the portal between life and death.
mhm.
And every once in a while, she sees a soul that's going through, and she'll pull them out of there, and she'll use them, or she'll grant life back to somebody, or what have you. So when Silverwolf's soul was going through, he's like, "This guy's pretty much doing something that I'm already doing, and I think that he'll be very valuable to my cause." So she plucked his soul out from there and gave him a body, because his body was destroyed, and she due to the circumstances of the magics involved and whatnot, and put him into a body of a I'm forgetting him already. Shatterkai, and sent him back. But yeah, as you can tell, for those who have been watching, he didn't know right away what was going on. And so he just found out and realized.
Yeah.
And
Although Adam's been dropping hints since the very first moment that Talon was there.
Yeah.
I thought I was telegraphing it, to be honest with you.
Well,
Ashe was pretty confident he knew what was going on, but
Yeah.
didn't want to say anything.
yeah. As is Wynden.
Jarish / Rahly / Morgan had no idea.
Yeah. he was pleasantly surprised, which is good. So but yeah, so actually that's what's going on with that there. So just so everybody at home knows what's going on, and when we do any kind of references between that, Silverwolf was Adam's original character, and so there you go. That's how that went down. Okay, so with that having been said, it's your turn, Michael.
I am Michael, and I am playing Ashe, who just a cleric who's helping to support out the party here, and looks like he might be going to meet a few of his own kind or his own fellow parishioners, and he's not real happy about that. So we'll see why.
Mm-hmm. Indubitably. So with that having been said, let's jump into a really brief recap. So what had happened is after the Press King Opportunists had been found out by Krasner as they tried busting into his place, then they got new jewelry in the form of electrum bands that were bolted to their head, so that they could now work for Krasner. And Krasner told them that the bands prevented from scrying magic detecting them, and prevented the minions or Caraptus from manipulating them. Which we did know that some people they had noticed that had the soulless ones, the ones that had their souls pulled out from Caraptus, had been manipulated in the past. So they did know that. Anyway, so they're sent upon their merry way after they've been recruited by Krasner into the forces of Ayuz to do his dirty work, to go down to a place called Red Hand, go and meet up with a Prince Zeech, because Krasner had good intel saying that there was going to be a ship heading out onto the narrative out from Ernst, and it would be chock-a-block full of souls. And supposedly these are the souls that the Caraptus followers had been stockpiling, and they had found out that some one way or another, these souls are very important for either bringing in Craptus back into the prime material plane, or they could be used for other things. And supposedly the souls of those who were still around that had lost them would be there, maybe. So they start off on their journey. They leave from the Rift Crag fortress. They head out into the open plains once again, find a couple of very interesting turned earth. Hey, Lee Kim, how's it going, man?
Hey, Lee Kim.
So they found some turned dirt circles, which they didn't really figure out what it was. And they noticed in the distance. Oh, I guess I should say too. They found out that one of the guys that, because when they were at Krasner's fortress at the Rift Crag, after they had been captured, when they came to, they were in a dungeon where they were going to get these circlets put on. They were also in the company of others.
Yo, Momentum.
Hey, Momentum. And then they were also in the company of other soullesses. These are other guys that had their souls ripped out and sent out into the real world, like just like the Press King Opportunists. Trent,
Ash's former servant Hartruck was there too.
Yes, and it turns out that Hartruck is a master Iusian spy.
Just a servant.
A master
I
servant.
don't care how he puts himself up. He's just a servant.
So they head out into the plains, and while they're on their journey, Darton, who was somebody who, I don't want to get too into it, but Darton was a guy that was dead, and they talked to his ghost earlier on. So then they ran into this, as you guys do. So when they ran into this guy Darton in Krasner's Keep, they were very suspicious of him. And as they were out on the road, both Morgan and Talon detected somebody trying to read their thoughts. They were able to discern that this was happening to them. And basically what ended up happening is they found out that it was none other than this guy Darton. And Darton turned out to be, what are you guys calling him now?
Darton Ganger, because he's a doppelganger.
Yeah, Darton Ganger. He turned out to be a doppelganger, and he was a basically he's another he's a spy for Krasner that was being sent along. Now they didn't kill him, surprisingly, and Darton Ganger had said, "Hey, look, guys, I'm mostly to be a spy to spy on Prince Zeech. So, you guys don't kill me. I'll just send some glowing reviews back to Krasner about you. Everybody, it's a win-win for everyone." And they agreed with this.
Although, interestingly, of all, we've killed so many NPCs. The one that we kept alive was a lying, scheming
Yeah, but he
Iusian spy. Yeah, he did offer a good Yelp review, and that's important.
Yeah,
it's very important.
That's true, man. Because, just one or two good reviews can put you over the top. So,
Marketing 101.
That's right. And, Lee Kim's all like, I always expect the doppelgangers.
Yeah, well, we knew there was something up with this guy right from the beginning because we spoke to a dead guy who said he was Dart.
Exactly.
That's true. It was kind
Ash didn't believe that this guy was Darton for a minute.
No.
Yeah, he was kind of playing behind from the eight ball the entire time because of that. So after they find that out, they continue traveling on the open plains, making their way towards Red Hand, and they notice a cloud, a dust cloud in the distance during the day of a large troop moving. So they do some wrangling and hide and move in different areas, and Talon, Ashe, and Wynden all make their way up to the encampment and to see what it is, while the rest of the group stayed behind, and they had a hidden grotto, and that's the doppelganger took on Silverwolf's form. That would have been funny. I did contemplate that, believe it or not, Lee Kim. I did. With these guys' track record, Silverwolf would have showed up and they would have whacked that dude like that.
Yeah.
So they found out that as they had went up to explore what this group was, it was a very large contingency of hobgoblins, and they had others, humans, with them, but they haven't seen them yet. They've just seen pretty much the perimeter guards, and there's a bunch of tents and what have you on the inside of this big old camp. But while they were out there, they heard what was the festival that's going on? The Blood Moon?
Blood Harvest Festival?
Blood Harvest, which is it, Michael?
Is festival really the right word for this? I'm just
as far as the Neruleans are concerned,
of
it
the
is
Blood Harvest. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, festival is a little bit of a misnomer. I agree.
It's a festival. It depends on who you ask.
Yeah. Well, we could just say celebration. I guess everybody's
It's a festival. Everybody's enjoying themselves. Well, almost everybody.
Hey, I saw a lot of Neruleans with cotton candy because
Right.
if that's not a festival, then I don't know what is.
There's a bunch of balloons.
Yeah.
So, but they heard the blood harvest ritual going on, and at midnight there was a scream, and then Ashe was pretty much, the ritual's over. But more importantly, what happened is that Talon, when he was there, these hobgoblins are flying the banner of Chief Olgin, who is now set himself up. He's consolidated all the different hobgoblin tribes that were in the Horn Society that were pretty much unemployed afterwards, and then they started pseudo working for the Iusians. So they started hiring themselves out as mercenaries. So now, when Talon saw the banner of Olgin, which is a skull with two crossed arrows through the skull, it triggered his memories of being Silverwolf, and they were actually invisible up until that point. But then after he'd seen that, Talon fell to his knees. The invisibility spell went off, so they all began hiding in the very tall grass of the plains at that point. And I'm pretty sure that's where we left off, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So that's where we're going to pick up.
Right. I did break Bruce the Bat's neck, which is Morgan's familiar.
Yes.
So he knows that there's trouble, but we don't know if there's trouble for Jarrus. So we don't know if he might have his own adventure going on here.
Here's the thing: is you guys don't know what's going on back, because
we don't.
Now, let's not forget that Jarrus stayed behind for a reason, and that reason was to keep an eye on everybody else.
Right.
Because there's Alfor, who is the hobgoblin
Iusian
hobgoblin scout that's leading you guys down to Red Hand. We
got Dartenganger.
Dartenganger is there too, who is the doppelganger, who is a Iusian spy to be delivered down there. You've got Morty the Immortal.
Oh yeah, another Iusian.
Another Iusian that was gifted to Ashe.
Why did we take him?
Because he's awesome.
I mean, there's been some comedic value to him. Don't get me wrong. As a player, I see his worth. As a character, I'm still not sure why we brought him along.
Well, see, here's the thing. Whoever dies next, guess who you're playing?
Morty.
Morty the Immortal. Which is,
you know what? That might be the best way for Will not to kill me is to play Morty.
Play an Immortal. Yeah. That's right. It could happen.
He'd still find a way. Achilles.
Yeah, I would.
I know.
There's Trent, and don't forget, there's the Coppers.
Yeah, there's Starsky
that's
and Huggy Bear and Turner and Hooch.
Yes.
Which were other soulless bandits.
Yes, who they just affectionately termed the cops. So those guys.
It all started off because you named one of them Turner. So that
I did.
It was downhill.
It did go downhill. So as soon as I said Turner, somebody said Hooch, and then the next thing you know, it went from there and got completely out of control. So, which is fine. That's all good. You know what I mean? The easiest way to
Don't
kill
give,
an immortal.
yeah, Lee Kim, don't give Will any ideas on how to kill an immortal. It's my only way to survive this.
Ah, we're gonna talk later, Lee. Me and you.
I understand if you take their heads off.
Burn them to
they're done.
ash. Seal the ash into different urns.
Yeah.
Does that like? Can you use like a Folgers coffee can? Will that work?
Well, would it work though? Because if you guys remember,
Delicious.
Morty told you that he'd been consumed once.
Yeah, and he just showed back up. But we don't know if he was shot out and how.
Yeah, nobody knows about that,
Yeah.
but he just knows that he was 8, and then the next thing you know, he woke up a little bit.
But he wasn't scattered throughout, several different planes or anything.
Yeah.
So.
That's true. That's true. And you guys are very far away from having that level of power, so it's all good. So Morgan, who that's currently of the two personalities that inhabit that Rahly and Morgan that inhabit the same body. Morgan was in charge, and he was staying behind to keep an eye on the rest of these guys because he just didn't trust them. So who knows what's going on back there?
Knows.
That's
We
right.
The-
You don't know.
You know what? All the options are on the table.
They are now. So where we're going to pick up at is with you guys laying in the tall grass outside of the hobgoblin camp.
Yeah. So I'll just turn to Ash and say, how do you propose that we make our way into the camp?
So that it can kill all these people.
I mean, that's always the subtext whenever Talon talks. Yeah.
You will be my acolytes. Easy enough here for Wynden. You, on the other hand, will just need to be quiet. Maybe a vow of silence would be good for you right now.
Is it going to be an issue that I am Shadar-kai?
And that's why a vow of silence would probably be good for you right now.
Yes, I will do as you say in this matter.
Now,
So-
Wynden, you just need to know some of the tenets of faith. If you're asked what happens when numbness overtakes pain, you just say that Nerul has touched your senses.
Cool. So we're gonna try to just walk into here then, instead of being invisible. Is that where we're
I
going
could
with
make
this?
us invisible, but if we have a cleric of Nerul and we can save ourselves the spell because we may need it once we are inside.
All right. And what's our goal here? Well, I thought we were just doing recon, and we actually doing something else now.
Well, I mean, we need to see if Chief Hogan is here, and if he is, I will have his head.
Oh, good. Good. Okay. Sure. All right. So numbness, pain, they rule. Great.
Here, catch
There
on
you
pretty
Now,
quickly. Yeah.
remember now, we are members of the Knights of the Merciful Sigh, which is where you come in, Wynden. So you are a champion for dead, because even the dead need champions,
All right.
which is your tagline.
Yeah.
It's on his business card and everything.
Yeah.
Is this where you kill them and raise them again? I must complete the disguises. They must be original.
Yeah.
Sweet. All right. I'll do my best.
Excellent. Now, I never said, speaking of, that I had skeletal solace along, so
No. Well, last I had heard, you were having them watch over Dartmouth-Ganger.
yeah, that's
That
what they
was-
were doing.
That was their
That's what
job.
they were up to. So, yeah, that's
Yeah.
what they're up to. So, yeah, just follow along, and we should get along splendidly.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, remember,
agree.
you don't have to turn into a vampire. That's something that's kind of unique for me, and you just have to look yourself. Most priests don't even have magical powers. They're just kind of like there.
Right.
But
They pass around the hat,
yeah, pretty much, yeah. But
Well,
light the candles, that sort of shit.
only the truly chosen can actually wield the power of Nerul.
cool.
So-
How you get to be a truly chosen, I have no idea, because I would not have asked for that. So
Right. So, how? Okay, so explain to me exactly how this whole subterfuge is going to go down here. So
I'm just gonna walk right into camp with my 2 acolytes and
Now, do I have to have a dark cloak on? Because
present myself.
I don't think I was wearing a dark cloak before because I thought I'd be invisible, right? So
Your
you still-
cloak is your faith,
okay,
knight.
that's fine with me.
So yeah. Do you still have your Iusian cloak?
I mean, I probably have it somewhere. Yeah, I wouldn't have gotten rid of it.
I was going to say you're the only one I think that still has it.
Yeah,
Not that you would want to necessarily wear it in here. I'm just
right.
just
Yeah,
was curious.
Wear it inside
Ash
out.
if Ash doesn't seem to think it's going to be a problem, I'll just go with. I know I won't worry about it. Then he would know.
Okay.
So.
All right, so the 2 of you are just going to look the same and just let Ash take the lead.
I mean, I've got a dark cloak, but
That's all I got. Other than running back to camp, that's all I got. Yeah.
Okay. All right, so you guys just all stand up. I mean, how's this going?
Oh, yeah, I
down?
mean, I instruct them on, how to do the basic etiquette type thing for greetings and walking and so forth, so that they don't look totally out of place. But
Okay.
so whatever those normal everyday courtesies would be, obviously I share those.
Okay. So you guys got the whole secret handshake and the
Yeah.
whippoorwill greeting.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So
Stress even the dead need champions. You can't forget that. That's your only line.
Got it. It's got a pithy ring to it.
Yeah.
Even the dead need champions.
there you go. All right. So you get up and you just walk towards the camp.
Yep.
Okay. So
And
you
as
guys
when I get close enough, I begin to chant one of the chants that would belong to the festival of the blood harvest, and
Okay. Okay.
not making any sign that I am trying to hide or be stealthy at all.
Gotcha. All right. No, that's not a problem
Proceed
whatsoever.
forward.
Okay. So you stand up. You guys start making your way, and it's not long after you guys stand up and start making your way towards the camp that a pair of the hobgoblin guards call out. Adam, would you do the honors, please?
Was it a goblin?
Oh, the
Yeah, there's-
goblin voice?
They're hollering out goblin. Yeah.
Yeah. So they probably just yell, "Who is it? Who's going there? What the fuck you want?"
There you go. Okay. We love your goblin voice, by the way. So yeah, so they essentially at first they speak in goblin to you. What do they call that when you're going up to the guards? Not presenting yourself. What is that? Declaring. Oh yeah, like declaring who you are and what your intentions are. They say it first in goblin, and then they immediately repeated it again afterwards in common.
But it sounds
It's
much nicer because
thickly accented common, but common nonetheless.
And I say, do not be afraid. He only seeks to help you join him.
Okay, and they're one of them gets looks like he's getting ready to possibly raise a holler or something like that. But then you guys start to get closer into the light because this is a well lit up camp. It's not.
I also
like,
have my, my skull and sickle holy symbol out in full obvious view, and
Yeah, I figured
all
you
the
were
things
going-
I don't normally do, I actually have going on.
Yeah, you got your full Nerulean regalia going on there, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So and that's what happens is that they notice that, and the one guy stops isn't gonna holler or anything, and he goes, but now let's see here. Let's be honest. They're hobgoblins, but hobgoblins aren't the dumbest guys. So let's see. Okay. And it's just okay. This is what I wanted to know. One of them looks like, oh, yes, sir. It's a Nerulean, and the other guy with him, he's all like, hey, who are you? We don't recognize you.
Say, I am the one who has come. You may present me now.
They both look at each other and go, that's kind of cryptic, isn't it? Yeah, it's kind of cryptic. You got a name we can put on the end of that one who has come?
I am the one who has come. You may present me now.
Okay. All right. And they actually at that point in time actually do give like loud whistles almost in unison, and you do see other hobgoblins come from in the camp come out. They are rushing, but it's not like a holy shit. It's like hey, what's going on sort of thing. You know what I mean? So when they see you guys, they kind of like shore up. So there's another 6 that come up. So altogether, there's going to be 8 of them there. And the one hobgoblin that was kind of like asking, well, who are you? Goes, all right, well, if it's going to be like that, come on, follow me.
Excellent.
How am I doing?
I start to follow him.
How am I doing, Adam?
Yeah, no, it's top notch.
Top-notch goblin? All right, cool. Okay, so they start marching you in, and you go past. They actually have pickets up surrounding the encampment. You can well, none of you guys are military of any sort, so
I technically was a soldier. True. Now I'm getting some memories back.
That's right. So I'll say that some of this,
and I figured I didn't change my background when I came to this because this is the same guy.
Well played, sir. So,
which is also why I can speak Goblin and Orc.
Right. So you notice that there's pickets. They have pickets up. There's a little bit of distance in between the first line of picket, and then they have a second line of picket, which are staggered. And then on the other side of that, there's tents. Now, these tents, the first tents that you come across, are very plain and militant. Very just, there's nothing spectacular about them, but they're well crafted. And as they start leading you through, there's a number of other hobgoblins that are there that are busy taking care of, like, they're going through sharpening weapons, cleaning armor, this sort of thing. And there was a general murmur of essentially just camp activity, hobgoblins talking to each other and what have you. But as you guys are marched through, that murmur kind of dies down. Okay. Hey, what's up, Lord Gazumba? How's it going, man?
Hey.
So that murmur dies down, and the murmur in general of the entire camp starts to die down.
Oh, God.
As you're led through.
Oh,
a number of these hobgoblins that were busy doing things follow. But
no matter how fast they're going, I continue along at a slow, steady pace.
And they are actually, you can tell now. Okay, so these guards that received you outside of the camp, they're actually they're being very respectful of Ashe. Like, they're making sure that they keep in step with his pace. They're not like, they didn't get very close to him. Like, some guards might get within striking distance or anything. They're still well off. And they're walking not with a lot of like concern. They're not like, the guys up front aren't like looking over their shoulders every once in a while just to take a look at you guys. So it seems that they're buying into a partial truth, I guess, for lack of a better word, right now. A lot of the other hobgoblins, while some of them do come and follow, they follow at a respectable distance, and a lot of them don't. Though they look up, they assess the situation, then they go back to doing their prep work or taking care of their gear and their kits.
Yeah,
as you get
taking
past,
a look, by the way, as we go along, looking for any sign of hobgoblins with rank, which I don't think I'd see yet, and then also
you do see some, but it's nobody of substantial. You're basically seeing what the equivalent of like sergeants.
I don't care about those.
I'm looking for easy ways out. I'm looking for the best route to escape if need be. That's what I'm looking for.
That was a couple of episodes ago.
Yeah, I didn't know.
Okay, so they lead you past these, which are basically the hobgoblin military tents, and there's a little bit of a clear distance, and the camp itself is a big old ring. Okay, and big old ring, and then did we just
we lost Michael? Yeah.
Oh Jesus! That's right, he'll be back. And then you get, well, it's kind of important. We'll retell it. The camp itself is a big circle.
Mm-hmm.
The military tents of the hobgoblins are all around the perimeter. Okay. There is a pin at the far, which would be the north end of this camp, where all the horses are at. Okay. And in the center, outside of just south of where these pins are a bunch of other tents. Now, I want you guys to go ahead and give me some perception rolls on it right now. Let's see what the two of you guys got going on here. Ooh, nice.
Wow.
Nice. Okay,
23 and I got a 20.
You guys definitely notice right off the bat. Okay. As they are bringing you forward, the tents that are in the center.
And Lee Kim also rolled a 23, by the way.
Nice.
So you also noticed this.
The tents that are in the center are essentially in a horseshoe. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Open end at the bottom. Goes into, again, there's a clearing on the center, which these tents are around. You can see in the center, there are a number of humans, roughly about, you would say anywhere from like maybe 30 or 40 humans. The tents that are in this horseshoe ring look dirty and stained, but you can tell it's for appearances only. They're very well constructed, well made tents that have been purposely made to look as if to be in disrepair. Okay. In the center where all these humans are, most of them are in like what appears to be, it had been like some sort of like circle, but it's starting to dissolve. Like people are starting to split off into like ones and twos, and they're kind of like talking amongst themselves. And they're all dressed in basically rags, tatters, okay, stained. They look like slaves is what they look like. At the center, you guys can make out in between, as these people were starting to peel aside, there are the remains on the ground of somebody that had been staked out eagle-wise, and they've been splayed open, and some sort of grisly hey, Michael. Okay. Okay, so real quickly, I'll just recap real quick what I just told those guys. So after you go through, you go past the hobgoblin camps. Also, give me a quick perception roll. And now, it doesn't matter, because as the other guys see it, I'll say they just relayed the information, because they got really good rolls. There is the hobgoblin tents are in a circle. In the center, at the north, there's a pin with horses, and then beneath the pin with horses, there's a horseshoe of other tents. Those tents, while they're stained and made to look not in good condition, are actually in good condition. They've just been treated to try and look like they're not in as good as they are. In the center of where this horseshoe is, there's about 30 to 40 humans that looked like they had been in a circle, but they're starting to dissolve off in ones and twos and talking amongst themselves. They're all dressed in rags and dirty clothes and what have you. But you can tell they're on the ground as they're starting to leave. There is a human that is laid out, spread eagle, tied to the ground and splayed, and blood's all over the place. And it looks like they're going through gathering up the carcass and what have you. So that's what you guys see, okay, as you're coming up. Now, on the outskirts of this tent, horseshoe tent, there's a couple of hobgoblins that, Adam, this is what you've been looking for, people of rank. Okay. Neither of these guys, from what you can tell, would be Chief Olgin. Now, you've never seen Chief Olgin himself.
No.
But you would know probably Chief Olgin if you saw him. Okay.
I'm sure I would.
Yeah. But these guys look like they're some sort of officers of some kind.
Okay.
You can't really tell the hobgoblin insignias or anything too much. But these two hobgoblins come up before you guys get it any further, and they start speaking with the other goblin. Hobgoblin's like, "Who are these? Who's this priest of Neural?"
As I step forward, then.
Uh-huh.
Is it the hobgoblins talking?
Mm-hmm.
I ignore them. I'm
Okay.
looking for the Nerulian priest.
Okay. So essentially, you go walking past them. I take it.
Yeah, I don't even glance in their direction. I just continue along on my slow symbolic walk.
Gotcha. They don't try to stop you. And Talon, your guys hearing this, there's a conversation that's going back and forth between them real quick. It's like, I don't know who the fuck this guy is. He says he's the one. We're supposed to go and take him to the guys in here and tell them the one is here. So I don't know what that is. Do you know what that is? I mean, I don't know what this. I mean, and they start going back and forth in that fashion. Like neither of them really know what to do, and neither of them really want to like prevent something from happening that maybe should be happening.
But they stay where they are, or do they head off once we pass them?
No, they don't head off. They just start following.
Okay.
And they're following at a respectable pace. Like they give you guys a little bit of distance, you know. And so, okay, so you're going in, and everybody, like I was saying, these people, they look like they're dressed like, they're dressed like slaves, but they're not like emaciated or, you know, their skin isn't like really like, you know, covered with nothing but mud. Oh, there's some lovely mud down here. You know, it's nothing like that, you know.
But it's nice to know that if they were mud people, they would be happy about it based on, on that comment. All of Will's mud people are just happy to be among the mud.
Well, of course. I mean, why wouldn't you be, right?
It's true.
That's not how hot it is out.
It's also
Oh,
fair.
it's not hot at all. Don't forget, it's getting into wintertime, and matter of fact, it's gotten rather cold. So you guys can see your breath and all this different stuff right now.
Okay.
So you're just going to go walking up into.
Yeah,
I'm
I mean,
following
do
him.
I see the what are obvious to be the priests or just these?
Nobody obviously looks like anything besides just. There's nobody there. Well, give me a perception roll.
Wait, if there's nobody that's like obviously there,
Nope.
I just stop there at the site of the sacrifice and I announce, "Life cutters, I have come. Join your brother."
Okay, they all kind of like look around at each other. There's some whispering that goes back and forth, and then there's two people that break off and start to come close to you. One is a woman. She's got.
I'm clueless, by the way.
Okay, she's got. Well, and you would be probably anyway. She's got blonde hair, and it's pulled up. She's got essentially a long brown stained cloak on, and the hood is thrown back. Her features are not very remarkable in any sense. It's like you could definitely pass her in a crowded city, and you probably wouldn't notice. You know, the other guy. There's a guy with her though. He is got red hair, almost to the point where you think maybe it's dyed. He's got a red beard. He's really broad of chest and thick-hued kind of guy. Think of is anybody? You guys have seen the Conan movie, right?
Yeah.
The one with Arnold who gets pushing the thing there. Remember when he was fighting in the pits and there was the guy with the red beard?
Vaguely.
Okay, so anyway, there's a guy with a red.
I love
He's
that
with-
movie. I haven't seen it in a long time.
Oh, dude, you need to
I know.
remedy that. He too is dressed in clothes that are stained and what have you, and they come walking up, and the lady smiles and she goes, "And who might you be?" And
I
she's
am
speaking
Death
directly-
Salvation. And then I give a nod. And
Death
who might you be?
I am Juliana Mortitis.
Kind of give her an odd look at that response.
You know the name though. The
That
name.
is not a typical response for a Nerulian priestess.
Well,
Are you not the child?
we're not Nerulians here. We're just common slaves. Now, you
Uh-huh.
know the name, though, that she gave you. And the name is of a Horn Society hierarch who was a a priestess of Nerul.
Okay. So
Okay.
Julia Childs.
Yes, if you want to call her that, feel free.
Yeah. I always
Once it
knew
begins.
Julia Childs was up to something.
You know what? Okay, so that's how her voice is going to be now.
Oh no! Look what you've done.
You guys can take Adam to that.
paprika.
Yes. Well, you see, I didn't expect to run into a Nerulian.
I like the other voice
priest
better.
out
Can we go
here.
through the
I
other
still
voice?
can understand it.
Yeah, let's stick with voice number one.
All right. So you know that, and you can tell that when she name drops herself, she's watching you for recognition.
And I'm
So-
more offended that she did not give the proper response. I'm not real worried about her actual name.
Oh, that's fine.
And then that's why I chastise her for giving an improper response.
Okay, so how do you?
I just ask. I mean, is that are you not the child? I mean, that's the proper response for a priestess would be to say, "I am Death's Salvation."
Okay, so well, and then her response is, "We're not Nerulians.
Yes,
We're slaves."
of course not. Then I bow again and say, "Yes, and I'm a cleric of Saint Cuthbert."
Yes, you are.
What brings you out this way?
Well, we're very curious about what you're doing here, and who are your friends?
We're gonna die.
I got us covered.
These are
Steve,
my
don't worry.
acolytes. This is my acolyte Tail, and this is my acolyte Wynd.
Tail and Wind. Interesting. And she starts walking in a circle around you guys
Yep.
slowly. Now, the rest of the humans that were there, they start crowding in
Oh, good.
in a circle around what's going on.
And I say, actually, Tail is a novice, so he is at this time, is our custom, unable to speak. Wynd, however, is a full acolyte.
Oh, he is. And where do you hail from?
Well, my lady, I was born in the den of infamy known as Rick Roost, but I've been all over the world.
And I take it. Did you tell her your name? You did, didn't you? Ashenberg?
Me? No,
Oh, you did?
no, I haven't said a name
No.
yet. No.
Okay. And what is your name, good priest of Nerul?
And I nod again and say, "I am Death's Salvation."
But your name.
My name, you may call me Ashe.
And where do you hail from?
I do not remember, but most recently, Rick Roost.
So you're from the chapter of Rook Roost?
I do not remember where I hail from, but I am most recently from Rick Roost.
And how does the chapter in Rook Roost fare?
I cannot speak to that knowledge because I am not there.
No, from when you were most recently there. We can dispense with all the odds. You will either present yourself as a real priest of Nerul, or a bunch of slaves might have something to do with that. You have to understand, good sir. we're not really supposed to be here. So running across the Nerulian priest such as yourself, one who is so obviously gifted, and she points towards because you're carrying the scythe, right? The one
Yep.
that she points to that and she goes, "This speaks volumes, but I wish to associate that with this." And then she points at you.
Well, and I say first we must sing the song together before we can become more than we currently are.
All right, she'll do whatever mumbo jumbo you guys.
I'm assuming I was just going to assume it was Sweet Home Alabama.
No doubt. That's the first thing that happens is he says that, and then all you hear in the distance is bing, bing, bing,
Either
bing.
that, and then one of the slaves yells out, "Do Freebird!"
Right? A couple of lighters. Oh, people don't use lighters anymore. A couple of cell phones pop out with the flashlights on.
All right, so after we get through all of the what I consider the proper, and I keep looking at her like this priestess is certainly not a very good priestess.
Well, here's the thing.
Definitely questioning her abilities and her pedigree at this point, because Ashe has always been very much by the book. He's very book trained and everything, so he knows every stance, every verse, every stanza of everything that's ever been scribbled, and he knows it backwards and forwards. And there's been so many breaches of etiquette with this person who's been out in the wilds for however long that it's really truly questioning her true commitment.
Well, here's the one thing that like I said, she name dropped, and I just said for sake of argument, even being holed up where you were in Rookroos, because your chapter wasn't associated with the hierarchs. You're associated with Neural and the divine god, the Reaper. But you guys knew about the hierarchs, and you knew about them because they were essentially, there was the driving force behind the Horn Society were priests of Hexter and the priests of Neural. And they were in charge of a kingdom. So, it's sort of like you've got somebody who's a very devout priest, and then you've got like these guys living in the Gilded Palace sort of thing. Yeah. They're both serving the same god, but
and one of them just almost got fooled by a doppelganger recently, so even more suspicious.
Exactly. So that's her, and she is, while she was one of the lesser hierarchs, okay, she definitely wasn't somebody who was one of like the main dudes, definitely wasn't the nameless one. She's, to be one of the hierarchs, you got to have some juice, is basically what it comes down to.
Yeah.
So you guys get done doing your singing songy thing or whatever, and then the guy in the red beard goes, "Are you done? Are you done with all the singing and the crap? Gosh, I swear, you get you Nerulians together, you either want to do one of two things: be sick and kill people, or just sing and do stupid shit. Gosh." And he like turns around and starts just marching off, and he goes, "I swear, nothing like a good old battle, but no, we got to go and hide around and march around. And so he's just complaining.
As he walks away, I raise up my hand and let Nerul bind thee in blood. Which he could take over he wants.
He ignores it. And so
then I turn back to Julia Childs there, and I say, yes, Rookroost is last that I'm aware of was being led by Dakin. You may remember him as being a lowly sub-priest once upon a time. But he is now the ruling faction in the sect.
Oh my dear, I have no idea who you're talking about.
Exactly.
I never
like a bad '80s hairband, Dakin.
Yes. Yes. And she's like,
this coming from Talon, so
right?
Yeah, Talon. It looks like he just came from one of their concerts. Yeah.
So, I didn't bother myself with such a lowly people down on the evolutionary chain of command. But you, obviously, you are something special. Did Nerul point you towards us? Are you here to meet us and join the cause? That must be what it is. Oh, joy. Please, come to my tent. We'll sit, we'll drink, we'll eat, we'll discuss with each other. And bring your 2 acolytes.
Yes, an acolyte and a novice. Yes.
Yes, novice acolyte. It's all the same. And she just starts leading.
Once again, I just give her just a weird long stare, like, really?
While this is happening, Talon is thinking of his favorite Dawkins song called "Standing in the Shadows"
I see you looking him up.
from the album from the album Back for the Attack in 1985.
Mm-hmm.
Wyndon's mostly thinking about how incredibly screwed he is right now.
Okay.
Don't
Now,
worry,
as you
I'll
guys
get
are
us
walking
out of here,
towards
don't
this
worry.
tent, Juliana, which is her name,
Mm.
she says, "You must excuse Vossler. He is rather volatile. He is the remainder of the Hextorian priests from the Midlands. You do know that their temple there was razed, and you guys know the Midlands was run by Hextorian priests. They weren't connected to the Horn Society, but they ran this. They had this temple fortress, and they pretty much ran it. And when IUs invaded, they yeah, let's do it. And they just went out and were just decimated because they were outnumbered and whatever. But they're like, yeah, fucking war, let's do it. You know,
They got Dawkins playing on their boom boxes.
Oh, I should get that into the background music right now.
Every time I do that, it fucks things up, but I'm gonna try.
So she leads you into one of these tents. Now, this tent is a little bit bigger than the others, and as she's leading you in there, you notice that they're doing whatever they do with the body after the sacrifice. So
Leave it to the crows, I suppose.
So they're getting it ready to obviously. For one, it's not in the center where everybody can trip over. Now that the ceremony is over, so they're going to do what they would do with it. But all those people are talking like mad whispering. It's and they're all just staring at Ashe big time because he's walking through with essentially a holy weapon. And anyone who's there that's a Nerulean worshiper, they know what that is. If not through, they've heard stories at least of such a weapon. So she goes walking into the tent. Now, the inside of the tent doesn't look anything like the poor and rundown bullshit that's outside. She takes off that cloak, and beneath her cloak, she's got on very nice gowns, velvet, and what have you. And she takes the cloak and just puts it on a hook or something. There's a cloak rest or whatever at the door. And there's nice benches in there. There's a couch in there. There's a couple of iron braziers with fires in the center. And there's some tables with food and what have you. She's like, please come sit. So Ashe, tell me. Nerul has sent you, has he not? He must have sent you. Look at you carry the sight.
We are on a path.
And you've come to that path's end, obviously. Well, when we get to our final destination, that's where it'll be.
We continue along a path.
Excellent. With ours. You correct?
I do not know at this time. I was led here.
Oh.
I will gain information, and then I will know what to do next.
Well, I feel confident. I am a very high-ranking priestess of Nerul. I serve the Lord. He has gifted me with countless of powers and abilities. So I'm sure that's what it is. I'm sure he'll let us both know before, possibly in the morning. So, but until that time, please, you and your novice. And she looks at you did I get it right this time? But she points to Steve. And your acolyte, and then she points to Talon. He's like, they're welcome as well. All of you can stay. We're headed to Red Hat. and you can come with us.
Where were we going?
Red
Originally?
Hand.
Red Hand.
And
Red Hand.
Excellent. Excellent.
Oh god.
So, tell me.
What is your business in Red Hand?
Well, of course, the reestablishment of the Horn Society. Please sit. And she goes over and she sits on one of the couches and like picks up a piece of fruit and like nibbles.
I'll sit like as close to the door, whatever seat's closest to the door, or
Uh-huh.
the flap,
look
or
over
whatever's the appropriate word here.
I just
Okay.
stand and I look over at Ashe.
Now, nobody else came in there with you guys. It's just you and Juliana.
Mhm, mhm.
Nobody else. Nobody else. Not even that Vossler guy. You know, you heard him like mumbling around outside, but that was about it. So, you're quite the talkative type. I can see. What about you? And she points to Talon. She's like,
Once again,
Did-
this is
did-
my initiate, my
Neural send
novice.
you here?
He is vow of silence.
Oh, yes, I forgot. Well, I release you from that vow of silence. You may speak freely to me and only me. And then when we're done, consider your vow of silence reinstated. I say so and command it for my power to nay rule.
And I look at her and say, "Are you a knight of the merciful sigh?"
I'm more than a knight of the merciless eye. I'm the king. I'm the queen. I don't know the hierarchy, but she like rolls off some sort of like super impressive title of whatever. And
Actually, from
she
your
connects into it.
assassination out there, it appears you are more a member of the Misery Code.
Misery Code, no, nothing of the sort. Some of the other priests that took care of that were, but you know, we're
Well, you're
all one
definitely
big
not a
happy family.
knight.
Well, I was a knight on the weekends for a while.
You're not a
Like an
paladin.
auxiliary
I can see
knight.
that.
No, honey, I'm a high priestess.
Yes.
I've
Trying
been-
to decide which sect you belong in. You're not a knight.
I don't need
You're not a
sect.
paladin. You must be part of the Misery Code.
I'm above sects. I've transcended them. I serve Neural directly. I don't need little codes and rules made up of some organization on how best to serve the Dread Lord. I just talk to him and he tells me. Maybe you'll get there someday. And you're obviously on your way. I mean, look, he's gifted you with such a fine weapon.
At this point, I kind of glance around. I'm looking for ghosts.
Let's just let's just roll. Because there's a good chance that there's some like following him, but I just don't know how. And let's see. I'm just gonna roll. Let's see. We need a below 10. Oh yeah. She's got quite a few that are just kind of like hovering around her.
At that point, I say, if you'll pardon me, I'm going to speak with some of your associates here. And I get up and I kind of like walk around and find one that looks the most interesting and say, "Why do you follow this one?"
Let's see. It's essentially, he looks like some sort of death priest. This guy you're talking to. There's one that looks like a death priest. There's one that looks like a lady in waiting, and one that looks like a nobleman.
Okay.
So those are
I
those
look
three.
at the
Which
death
one do you want
priest
to?
first.
Okay, the death priest.
Why do you follow this one?
I wait to watch her undoing
Why do you wait for that?
because the bitch killed me.
I mean, I'm kind of waiting for that, and I just met her.
And what would they call you in life?
He essentially says that he was some sort of he was some Nerulian militant of some sort. So you can put that into the hierarchy wherever you wish.
And I say, very well. Death is your salvation. Sleep now, child. Be done with your troubles. And then I turn, and whatever happens with him, I don't care. And I turn to the next one, and I say the same thing. Why do you follow this one?
Essentially, both the woman and the nobleman are they're all waiting to see her death. Is
All right.
essentially what it is.
And then I ask their names.
The woman wants to see her death because it's her sister. The nobleman wants to see her death because he was part of he's some Shieldland monarch, some nobleman from the Shieldlands that was actually engaged to her at one time.
Oh god.
And she killed him as well.
Yes.
Ah. So when I get done with my little interviews, and I give each one the sleep now and be done with your troubles thing, and I'm assuming she just sat there watching the whole time.
She did, and very curiously.
Then I finally turn back to her and I say, I think we have learned what we need to learn here now. I have no more questions for you. And then I start to make my way towards the exit.
Oh, I don't think you're going to leave quite yet. I haven't communed with Nehrul. And until I do, you will stay here as my guest. If Nehrul truly has plans for you elsewhere, you, of course, will be free to go.
And I actually stop and turn around slowly and look straight at her and say, why did you kill your sister?
I killed that little bitch because she was in the way.
And
Did
your
you
lover?
see her? Is that what you were doing? Oh my goodness, you're that one. You're the one that can see and speak with all the ghosts. Oh, how delicious. I've heard of you now. Yes, now I know. It is a pleasure to meet you. It really is. Someone with your talent. It's a shame that they kept you locked down there for so long. We tried to get you to come, have them let you come to us in the Homan Society. We could put your talents to use. But they held on to you tightly. Oh, yes, they did. They wouldn't let you go. Said you were a prized possession.
Yes, a possession.
Yes, very much so. So, please, I will gift unto you a tent. You can spend the night here, but please understand I can't allow you just to leave until I confirm such things for myself. You understand, don't you?
You recognize my weapon?
I do. And that weighs heavily in your favor. And is probably the reason you weren't manhandled and, well, you maybe even killed. But until I do that, please allow yourselves to rest, relax. I do believe there's some ill weather coming, and I would hate for you to be caught in that. And if Nehrul wishes it, I'm sure Nehrul will speak with you as well.
I need to speak with my companions.
Very well. Allow me. And she she puts her, does one of those real loud cowboy whistles. And some dude comes in, dressed all in slave, type stuff. And he goes, show them to Vossler's tent and then tell him he needs to come see me. Okay. The guy seems kind of uneasy about that, but he was like, if you gentlemen would follow me, please. And he goes outside, leads you across. Now everybody else that's there, they're kind of broken down to just sitting around talking and eating and drinking. Okay. The body is gone. You don't know what happened to it. He leads you over to another tent that's basically across the way from hers, and not as big as her tent, but bigger than the other tents. He opens the flap and he motions for you gentlemen to go in.
I walk right in like I own the place.
Okay. I'll follow it. I'm following Ashe for now.
Okay.
So
You guys go in. Now it's another. Now the inside, of course, this one it has furniture. It has a couch for sleeping and sitting on, and on that is that red-haired guy, and he has sit up and he's holding a book and a cup of wine. He goes, "What the hell are you doing here?" And he goes, Sir, Lord Vassal, please, the lady requests your presence and bade that these gentlemen relax here in your tent. And he looks like he's pissed and looks like he's going to say something. Then he drains the cup, chucks it to the ground, flips the book onto the bed, and walks through. And you guys gonna
Oh, I'm making way. I'm not.
Okay.
Yeah.
What about Talon?
Yeah, I'll step aside.
What about Ashe?
I just bow towards him and thank him for his hospitality.
And that actually takes him aback for a second, and you can see it melts a little bit of his like grump going on, and he gives you a bow and he goes, and he goes out of the tent. And then when he leaves, then the guy who showed you in there goes, can I get you lords anything? There's drink and food here already, as you can see. And he points over at a table, but
A moment alone is what I require.
Not a problem. And he turns around and he goes right out. in the flap of the tent goes, okay.
And I turn and I say, as in all things, no Nerulean, the walls have ears.
And Talon can't talk.
I mean, I can.
He just,
So you're not really a novice, you can actually speak.
Yeah, I know. I'm aware that when we're not around other people, that I don't have to.
Here,
I'm not that method an actor.
I thought this was just a new career path that you were going to go down.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I do say I hope you have all observed what you wished to see here.
Hold on. Before we get in any further on this, why don't we go ahead and take our break? We're a minute off of it, because this will lead into some conversation into more stuff. So, everyone, we're going to take a really quick break. So I'm not going to do it.
I was waiting for it.
I know you were. I'm not going
to
to give you satisfaction.
They can go to the bathroom. They can get their snackages. And that's it. You do exactly what Will says, guys and gals watching.
Let me make a note here as to what will happen. How did you spell Talon? Okay. All right.
We'll be back in a moment. Do whatever you'd like. And we're back. Thank you,
Welcome
ladies
back.
and gentlemen, and I hope you had ample opportunity to do whatever you wanted, regardless of what Will wanted you to do.
Do you know what I did? I got a snackage and I got a beverage.
There you go.
Yeah. I'm not saying that's what others have to do during the break, but I'm just saying.
I mean, it's solid advice.
It is, but it's kind of like.
I just don't know that we need to order them. The break is their time.
Yeah. Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
And it's sort of like that person that tells you what to do when you already know how to do it. That's the role. That's the role I'm filling.
It's like when I go to a restaurant, because I don't eat meat, people feel the need to read the menu to me.
That's right.
And point out things that don't have meat in it. I can do this on my own. I haven't eaten meat since 1994. I
probably assume you're too weak from the lack of protein, right? Make it through the menu.
I tell you what, I can't wait for the first time I go to a dinner with Adam, because that's all I'm going to do. It's like, man, you notice that's got meat in it. You can't get that. I'll ask the server, do you have a special vegetarian, or are we vegan now? I don't understand.
No.
You have to explain this.
All right.
Okay.
Let's get back to it.
All right.
Okay. So you guys are in the tent. You're in Vossler's tent.
Yeah.
Like I was explaining to Adam there, Talon, you notice that there's lots of weapons and armor in here, and these are not decorative things. These are for use and have been used. So
Yeah. I'm looking, as we're talking, I'm just looking for any symbol, any indication of anything else besides fucking Neruleans or.
Oh, he's got like the holy symbol of Lee Kim. If you're still on there, man, what's
What was it?
Hexter?
Oh, Hexter,
What's the holy symbol of
it was
Hexter?
6 arrows and a downward fan, is what I read.
Yeah, there you go. So that emblem is actually like embossed on the armor.
Okay.
And you can see it like on some of the weapons. It has it like embossed into the hilt or what have you. So yeah, this guy is a full on priest to Hexter.
Yeah.
You know that
Wow.
for sure.
Yeah. I'm
I'm
go
gonna
ahead.
say to Ash now, regardless of your prejudices and what you think of her as a person, is it possible for someone to directly commune with Nerul, or is that impossible?
Well, I can do so should I choose.
Okay. So she could be actually able to do that then.
She could be choosing to do so, yes.
Interesting.
And this is the first time that you guys, because she pointed out, I mean, you guys remember the day that you kind of woke up and then Talon was walking around going, look, I got a magic sword. And then
I said, look at Raven's Edge. Isn't it cool?
and this big double-handed sight thing that Ashe was wielding. I mean,
technically, Salas was wielding.
yeah,
for
she
a
was
while.
carrying around, but you guys notice it's like out of nowhere. But it's like Ashe never really said anything about what the hell this thing was. But
Does it look like a normal scythe, or does it?
oh
mark-
no,
Okay. Okay.
no, because
I mean, I
remember,
could summon my crossbow, but
yeah, the wood of it is like highly polished and black, and the blade is deep. I mean, it's like pitch obsidian black. Like it doesn't. It's almost as if light gets sucked into it.
right. Okay.
Sort of deal. Yeah, you guys knew for right off the bat. You're like, okay, you know. So
Just one more thing to add to the list.
yeah, things to cut.
So
Okay.
I'll say, okay. So you came here, and I'm pointing at Talon. I'm just talking. You came here to find some hobgoblin commander or something.
Yes, and I do not understand why there are Nerulians disguised as slaves, along with hobgoblins under Ulgin's banner.
So then I
It's
say,
this-
you have seen me dressed as a cleric of St. Cuthbert. I'm assuming it's a similar thing.
Yes, but this is a very specific banner, and if these hobgoblins are here, either Ulgin is dead, or he is a part of this somehow.
Well,
Is this some-
you guys know who Olgin used to work with or for?
He was Iusian.
No, he was originally Horn Society.
Oh, yeah, I did
And-
forget that.
Yeah, he originally worked for the Horn Society, and when the Horn Society coup happened, essentially what occurred was the hierarchs were wiped out. The infrastructure of the Horn Society was essentially just taken,
assimilated by Ayus.
assimilated by Ayu. So it's
Yeah.
like, you know, the doors in the temple or the whatever in Morlag flew open, and a bunch of Ayusians walked down and go, "You work for us now," and
Yeah, we've been there. Yeah, we get it.
Yeah.
and so what happened is that's when, remember I was saying, Olgin took the opportunity because there were a number of hobgoblin tribes that worked for the Horn Society.
Right.
Olgin took the opportunity, and because hobgoblin tribes will fight against each other, and then if whichever one wins, they don't like decimate the other ones, they assimilate them to grow bigger and stronger to take
So
on
he's
other tribes.
he's consolidated all these.
He
forces.
consolidated the hobgoblin tribes into one.
But who? I mean, I do not
Supposedly
understand.
now they work for Ayus as mercenaries.
But now it seems like with the affiliation with these, this Juliana, they might have gone back to the.
My concern is twofold. One, I am concerned that I will not find Ulgin. My second concern is that this group makes its way toward Red Hand, as do we.
Yes, and this week should join force with them to keep an eye on them. Now, this may be a way to get rid of some of our baggage.
What do you mean by bag? Oh.
We're talking specifically about Rahly, yes?
No, he seems to like Wynden, so we'll have to keep him around.
I mean, I'm not gonna. I don't relish the thought of staying in this camp any longer than I absolutely have to. If you wanted to stay, Ash, and ride it out, that's obviously fine. But
Well, we need to figure out. We need to figure out what they are doing. What is their plan?
do we need to figure that out?
Well,
though?
because
I
if they can help us against Zeech and be able to help return our souls or your soul, and mine is now property of the Raven Queen. It's got a little tag and it says Sharpie written there.
I mean,
But
You
they are
could,
we are going to the same place. Getting away from them is not going to be easy. We
Well-
can leave this camp anytime we so choose.
okay,
But
good.
but I would like to at least find out if Olgin is here. And then, too, we need to understand that even if we leave here now or in an hour, that when we arrive at Red Hand, they will be either with us, before us, or after us. But it will not be a long time either way.
Yeah, but I mean, we could probably have. I mean, there's like an army here. We could just disappear into the city. It's not like they're going to be looking for us specifically. But I see what you're saying. I get your point. Frankly, this place just creeps me out on many levels. And so you want to see if Olgin's here. And what do you want out of this, Ash?
Me?
Yes.
I want what I always want. In this case, I must follow the ancient traditions. Our ancient traditions demand worship and sacrifice.
Not it.
Then I start to laugh. Then I say, if that bitch out there thought that I was going to follow her, she's got another thing coming. But I do want to see what she's up to.
She appears to be a woman of power. Is this not true?
Oh, I'm sure she is.
And here's more important than that. She's a woman of power surrounded by dozens or hundreds of people.
Yes,
Allies.
exactly. And follow her beck and command. Obviously, she's the true leader here. So,
At least one of them.
and if she truly is one of the hierarchs, then she is not to be toyed with.
So, do we try to see if this Olgin's here? And if so, I guess you could try to kill him if you want, or not. I don't know what your plan is on that regard there, Talon.
In that case, I think we should ask her permission before we were to make a move like that. Or none of us will walk out of here alive.
Yes.
We at least need to understand more about this situation here, and if it is possible that he is here. And once we know that information, we can make our escape.
Okay, good. That's what I like to hear.
If
Okay.
he is here,
Yes.
it will be after his blood has been spilled.
And I say, Wynden,
So close. We were almost there.
we should ask somebody. It's beneath my station to poke my head out and yell, and obviously he is under a
Right.
vow of silence. So
Okay. So I'm gonna stick close to you guys because you're the only ticket I have getting out of here, probably alive. But maybe if we go back outside, I can chat up some of the people and ask about the more secular power in the camp as well. So
excellent.
great.
I think it's time to stretch our legs. And with that, I pick up some random food thing and recommend you guys do the same and wander back outside.
Yep. All right.
Okay. So you come outside, and there, when the tent opens and you guys walk out.
Oh, by the way, before we do that, I'm gonna just grab that book that Vossler was reading.
Vossler.
Just take a quick peek at it.
It is some sort of treatise on combat and tactics.
I put it down.
Okay. So I mean, it's.
I was just curious to see what he was reading.
Yeah, essentially, it's like some sort of version of like the Art of War or something.
I get it.
Right.
Okay, so when you guys come out of the tent, the supposed Neruleans that are around there, they all get quiet, They were like, talking and all this, and they get quiet and they're all just staring at Ashe, and a lot of them all just start like bowing to it. So like as he like does his peacock strut around, looking, they'll all like as he gets near, they'll bow to him, and then as he passes by, then they'll come up.
And I return the appropriate courtesy.
Yeah. Good job. Now the tent of Juliana, there's 2 hobgoblins standing out in front of it now, armored and armed. And they're just there.
Are there any other hobgoblins not near her tent?
No, not where you guys are at. These are all humans.
Yeah, we need to get to some hobgoblins.
Now, all the hobgoblins are in essentially that ring of tents and stuff that's around.
Yeah. I didn't know if there was any others that were just milling about.
Nope.
Well, then we'll drift over that way towards the ring of tents.
Okay. So you guys start heading over that way. And they just all start watching you leave out of that little horseshoe thing where the Neruleans are at. And they're, as you start to leave, there's like the whispering and the talk it like raises a little bit in tempo. It's like, oh, he's up there. He's leaving.
And actually, when I get to kind of motion for the others to continue, when I get to the spot where the sacrifice took place, I stop and I perform some ritual, and I stay there just to kind of remove suspicions that we're trying to escape or something.
Okay. So they just basically watch, they haven't done anything. Nobody's really done anything to contest you guys since you've come into the camp.
Right.
They've watched you and were like concerned. Well, not even concerned, just really interested.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The hobgoblins were like, oh, we didn't realize we were going to be meeting somebody, but he looks the part. So it's not like some paladin of Heronius or some St. Cuthbert fanatic came rolling up on their camp. And the Neruleans all got kind of like wide-eyed wonderment when they're looking at Ashe. So, okay.
All right. Yeah, I'm gonna start milling with Talon because he's probably keeping the bruise of a silent person, I'm guessing.
Until I see a hobgoblin, then I'll talk in goblin.
Okay. There's plenty of hobgoblins out and about.
Oh.
Yeah.
I mean, all you have to do is cross that little bit of it's like a space of 20 feet that separates the hobgoblins from the humans.
Yeah, because I don't think the hobgoblins are gonna know all of the ins and outs about Nerulean pomp and circumstance here. So
just make sure a human doesn't see you talking. That's all.
Right. I want to find just like either a sole hobgoblin or just a small group.
Yeah, there's like a group of a couple of them sitting around a campfire.
Yeah. And I'll sort of like, nod my head toward them to Wynden and then walk toward them.
All
Okay,
right.
they all nod their heads towards you, and then they kind of like look at each other like, oh, what the fuck's he coming over to talk to us for?
And then I stay in goblin. I notice your banner. It's really fucking cool, man. I know that this is Chief Olgin. From what I understand, he's real badass.
And they kind of look at each other like, okay. And they're like, yeah, he's real badass.
Yeah.
What's this back to you in Goblin?
You this is the goblin language.
Yeah.
I-
It's canon now. We've
Yeah,
established that this is how Goblins
I don't make
talk.
this up. Yeah, this is
Even though these are hobgoblins and they're cut above, like
Right.
just goblins
But
are
we're
just
still-
fine.
I speak. I speak goblin. So I'm doing the lowbrow version. So I'm saying
Yeah.
2 instead of usted. It's
Yeah. Yeah.
it's
They can
essentially
tell.
that, yeah.
Well, there's there's this human talking goblin to us.
Well, technically, I look like at best a drow.
Yes. Yeah, sort of.
Which is even probably more strange.
Weird. Yeah, exactly.
Does he travel with you?
Does he travel? No. Why? No. Ogun stays back in Molag. He don't travel with us.
Goodbye.
Bye.
It seems appropriately goblin-esque.
Right? And they just go. They start talking amongst themselves and
Yeah. So
hushed tones.
before we
I of
head
course
back,
have no idea what was exchanged.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm just
So I'll start walking away from them, and as we start walk, I'll say back in common. The Olgan is not here. I say that we collect Ashe. Maybe try to find out what these Nerulians are planning to do in Red Hand, so we have at least some intelligence on this, and then we leave.
okay. Yep, that sounds great. I like the last part of that plan the most. So that's perfect.
Can we start with that one?
Okay. So
All right,
you
we'll
guys,
head back to Ashe.
Okay, you guys go back up in there, and Ashe is finishing up his, whatever he was doing. He's like
Ritual that needed to be as long or short as or as complicated as necessary.
right, exactly. And he's sort of like some kind of like rock star amongst the people, sort
Yeah.
of thing. It's like here comes your novice and your acolyte.
I motion them over so they can finish whatever bullshit we're doing, and
Yeah, I just
and I
start
say,
going like,
they start flashing gang symbols. And then,
yeah.
They start throwing the signs at you, man.
so yeah, we motion to them and say to Wynden, and what did we learn?
Apparently, the chief that our friend is looking for is at his own headquarters and not here.
Excellent. So the plan is to leave. as soon as
Yes.
we figure out what's going on.
Yep.
Okay.
Then we should go speak with Joanna. Juliana.
Great.
Whatever her name is.
Okay. As you guys make
And
your
as I start to walk, I say I have a way for us to get out of this camp, I think. Follow my lead.
That's what I've been doing this whole time.
We'll hopefully she'll see us on our way, and she might even give us some provisions for our journey.
Okay, as you approach the tent, the two
Or she'll just kill us. One of the two.
Yeah. I'm optimistic.
two hobgoblins.
Get this bright side, Ashe.
Yeah.
The two hobgoblins, which both are armed with spears, cross them across the flap, like as in
Right.
you're not allowed to go in there, and as you guys come up out of the mix of the other slave dressed people, that same guy that took you over to Vossler's tent comes hurrying up and he goes, "Oh yes, masters. The mistress has asked not to be disturbed. She's communing with the rule. She says that when
AKA
she's-
boning Vossler.
What time of day is it?
it's past midnight.
No.
So it's just, once she is completed her rituals or whatever my lady is doing, she said that she would send for you, and until that time comes, she begged for you to be at ease and rest yourself within Vossler's tent where I showed you.
Sure. I'll look to Ashe, like looking at him, like fine. I like flick my eyes, like let's go.
Very well. Appears that the lady is not to be disturbed. We shall not disturb the lady.
Okay. So you guys go back into the tent.
Mhm.
Yep.
Sure.
Okay. So what's the plan now? What are you guys planning on doing?
Long rest, apparently.
Okay, cool. You will not be bothered. You can spend the evening in Vossler's tent, no problem. You can get a full rest. first thing in the morning, it's pretty much almost at the same time as you guys are rousing and getting yourselves together. There comes outside the tent, says, pardon me, my lords, and you can tell it's the voice of that dude.
Right.
The lady, Juliana, will see you now.
Before he makes his appearance, I actually, because of my long rest, swapped out one of my spells.
Okay.
I am going to cast divination.
Okay.
So I do that, and I like first thing in the morning is just before the sun comes up. But before that I do that, even I confer with the Wynden and Talon and say I can ask one question of Nerul. Question would you like me to ask, or what suggestions might you have?
Do you want to ask Nerul what Juliana's planning on doing in Red Hand and see if it jibes with what she says?
We can do that.
That's kind of tricky. I like that.
Yeah.
Anything else?
I mean, I would like to know if he can take these helmets off of our head, but I don't think that is something
we can ask her that, but we should trust her more first.
But I agree with Wynden that his wisdom is. Ask about what Wynden said, man.
I go through the.
Not a morning guy.
He's not a morning. He hasn't had his coffee.
Go through the proper ritual, and then I do ask the question. I say.
I'm searching, by the way, while he's doing this, for any sort of documentation about mission or
so you're basically going through Vossler's shit.
Yeah, like any names and like a list of like names of people who are in the camp, anything that's interesting.
You find a hit list.
Okay. Anybody interesting on there?
Yeah, Ayuz, Krasner, some other names you don't know, Aris Mortoth. With if you guys don't remember,
he was the Rook Roost dude, right?
Yeah, it's the Cambion that's in charge of Rook Roost.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of names on there. They're all Iusians.
I'm actually feeling much better about these guys now.
All right, and so he's basically you also find like some odds and ends, like different things. Like there's a book of poetry actually, but it's all war poetry about things for like the glory of battle and things along these.
Their version of Tennyson, Charge of the Light Brigade.
Yeah, and there's also some different things there that are a couple of names here and there that you guys recognize as essentially they sound vaguely familiar as people that you knew of from the Midlands, so like prominent Hextorian folk that used to be part of that part of the Bandit Kingdoms.
Okay.
So
I found what I needed.
Yeah, so it's sort of like maybe somebody's name as far as the glorious battle of this guy who was a Hextorian priest that was like a buddy of his. They wrote him into a poem or some kind of bullshit. So
yeah, I share the info on the hit list with Wynden while Ashe is doing his stuff here.
All right, so yeah, I do the proper ritual. I'm casting divination. Okay. So I'm asking the question.
So what does that look like when you do that? When you cast this divination spell? I mean, is it?
Well, for the first quite a while, you see this horrible look of distaste on Ashe's face.
I see that all the time when you look at me.
He's going to be doing this. It takes a long time to suppress that emotion away. Mm-hmm. Then eventually he pulls out his alms bowl, puts some blood in it, puts some of the dirt that he collected yesterday from the sacrifice in there, in it, and just slowly stirs it around, and then adds some incense and other things into it, and finally it picks up the bit of one of the body parts. He already gave Silverwolf his finger back. That would have been perfect. But
Yeah, sorry, I threw it to the ground too.
pulls one of the other body parts that he's collected out, and he kind of mixes that in there, and all into this alms bowl. And eventually, when he feels that it's right, he finally asks the question. We are with this group of Nerulian priests. One of them, Juliana, claims to be above all other priests and to commune directly with you. I wish to know what her purpose is in going to Red Hand. If you would, blah, 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 being all
How
pious
does he
so forth.
respond to you? Is it just like a voice in your head? Does it speak through a cloud that comes out of the bowl, or?
No, it's up to the DM, I think. But the reply might be a
okay.
short phrase, cryptic rhyme, or an omen,
Correct.
according to the spell.
So essentially, what'll happen is as you make your preparations, you'll go into a trance-like state, and in that trance-like state, the message appears in your mind. In that voice, it was basically like when you had your conversation before. Remember?
Mm-hmm.
So it's essentially like that. He talks directly to you. Okay. Or at least as far as your interpretation is, that's him talking to me. And what he says is, Juliana, what's the word I'm looking for? Juliana champions my cause and my church's cause. She will not interfere with you, and you should not interfere with her. And then that's it.
All right. So when I come out to that, I pretty much look at the others and say, we're supposed to be hands off each other.
Well, I did find this list that they are looking to kill both Ayuz and Caraptus. Caraptus or Krasner?
Krasner.
Oh, fuck. Damn it. I was hoping they'd want to help me out with Caraptus.
No.
Those two names, it's like watching Lord of the Rings, man, when everyone's got the same name. I had no idea. I had to watch those movies 3 times to figure out who was who.
Aragon.
I did not read the books. I'm sorry, but I didn't do it.
Ooh,
You missed a lot by not reading the book.
I know.
all the
I had no
poetry you
idea what
missed.
was happening. Basically, we would watch the movies with a group of friends of mine and I. Then we would go to like a bar, and my friend Tom would explain to us what happened. For 3 movies, we did this.
I can just see it now. Tolkien explained it through drunk talk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Drunk history. This is drunk fantasy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's good shit.
So anyway, I share that with Ashe as well, and put it back where I found it.
And it seemed you got the image or the feeling that this is probably more of a personal hit list. He's got like little pictures of a stick figure getting a dagger.
I'm all about personal hit lists. I understand what this is.
Okay, so you guys,
Vossler and I have a new connection. I feel like now,
right?
This guy's all right. Yeah.
Okay, so there you go. So after you get done, you guys come out of the tent. That servant's standing there, just going, "The lady will see you," and you see the tent, her tent. The flaps are pinned open. So the door is open for you to just like walk straight in.
All right. And
Now is the Vossler doing the walk of shame out, or
No, Vossler is sitting amongst the other humans, and he's eating breakfast.
Okay.
He already snuck out.
Yeah, he did that already. We got a little bit of a late start with all the rifling through people's personal belongings.
He's wearing the same clothes he was last night.
Yeah, well, we were also in his tent, so
Right?
and I'm actually wearing new clothes of his. No, I just,
And he does. He
doesn't.
does.
He wears white, not black, so he's not.
Yeah. He gives you guys a look, and it's not really a look of like "fuck you guys" or "I'm pissed at you," but it's not a friendly look either. It's like something in between.
Sure. I don't blame him. We took his room.
Yeah.
Right? Okay.
All right. So yeah, I'll lead the way in and go through all the proper pomp and ceremony again, even though
Okay.
she doesn't seem to be.
She
I definitely hit every proper note and
and she does so in return this time.
excellent.
Like everything that you do, she does in return, and she initiates everything in the proper way. And it's almost as if she was brushing up on the Nerulean handbook during the night. Please come in, sit down, and I have great news. And Ashe, Umbro, it is my deepest pleasure to have met you. I spoke to our Lord, and he sings your praises and says that you are one of his chosen. And I'm sorry if I was impolite in any sense yesterday. You understand.
Of course.
You're kind of getting the idea of maybe this is somebody who has been freshly whipped.
Yeah.
So, and there's like food laid out for you and everything. It's just now
Why are
I've
you
been
fucking with my golden boy, bitch? That's what she heard when she talked to Nerul.
Yeah, sure. I'm sure that's exactly how the rule sounds.
Don't mess with Ashe, son. He's cool. He's my boy.
I've been instructed to assist you in any way that you need within my abilities. But so long as that does not impede myself on my own mission.
Excellent. And I have
got a
received
list.
similar instruction that we are to not get in each other's way. But you may be of assistance to us.
And you might be assistance to us at some point, too, one would hope.
And I say, you may have noticed that I managed to get a problem. My associates and myself. And I kind of glance back at the others and say, it was Krasner, right?
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah. You are aware of one known as Krasner.
Oh, very much so.
And
He serves the old one.
yes.
And you guys know that it is very common, especially in the Bandit Kingdoms. You don't say the name of a god if you don't want their attention. So Ayus is generally only called Ayus by people who serve him. Everybody else, well, they'll call him by essentially his nickname, which is the old one. Or the evil one. It's kind of like interchangeable.
Well, we were recently taken captive by him, and he has placed control collars upon myself and my associates. Would you have any way of countering such magics?
These things, is that what you're talking about? Your headbands?
Exactly.
Allow me to inspect them. And she gets up, and she doesn't come over to you, Ashe. She comes over to Talon. And like,
I pull the hood down.
she like pushes. Yeah, okay. If you didn't, she would push it back. She's like starts like not forcefully like jerking your head around, but she's like,
Careful, it's an explosive.
and looking at it. Do you say that? Do you break your mouth?
No,
Silence.
no.
She starts looking at it, and then figuring them and drawing her lines around it, and then she says a couple of. She actually casts a spell.
Oh fuck! If she blows my head up, I'm coming back.
And
Somebody else, and she's then on my top of my list.
after she's done casting the spell, she goes, "These are not control collars. What were you told these were?
That they would be allowed to that there would be some control fast feature to it, eavesdropping feature, and some kind of a death ability.
A death ability.
Yes, I don't know exactly how this
It
all
seemed-
works.
See, if I may, it seemed concussive in nature as it was described.
Some kind of warlockery, I think.
Interesting. Well, from what I can tell and what I've been able to discern through my magics, these are only anti-scrying devices. Nothing more. There's no other magics on them.
I believe the explosive was mechanical, if I was remembering correctly, sir.
Ma'am.
No, I'm addressing it to you.
Oh.
I mean, she's clearly a woman.
Yeah, no. I mean,
'Cause
I'm
she's
being-
a
I'm acting
lady.
the submissive part, so I'm like,
Oh, sure. Yep.
if I recall,
No,
it
you did the
was
right thing.
a physical or mechanical explosive rather than
Yeah,
natural.
some kind of a mechanical, some gnomish invention, maybe. I don't know.
I see nothing of the sort on these.
Yeah, he's fucking with us.
Like I said, I mean, of course, one could probably use these items to track you through spells of divination to find particular items. I mean, if they crafted them, then they could cast certain magics to find out where they're at. But the magics that are placed upon it is to keep scrying magic from detecting you themselves. So, I mean, whoever crafted them could find you, I would assume. There is such magics for that, but
And they did say as much. So
Yes.
I detect no other magic, and I definitely detect no sort of mechanical apparatus within them.
Perfect. We shall have to experiment.
It does look like it was painful to have them put on.
it was not pleasant.
Yes. I'm sorry. Is there anything else?
Not that I'm aware of. We have business in place where you are going. However, we have another group we are currently traveling with. Perhaps we will travel parallel to you.
Interesting. Who is this group that you travel with? Obviously, why don't you tell me what Krasner was doing with you? And what he intends for you to do and what he intends for that to be. That's of great importance to me and to our Lord.
I stop for a minute and I take a long, slow walk around the tent, very ponderously, kind of glance at my two companions to see if they have any objections. And finally could come back in front of her and then stop and tell the whole story beginning to end.
Interesting. Well, it appears that while we work on the same side, it also appears we're working against each other
No.
at the same time. Well, your Krasner wishes us to. This doppelganger. He, I'm assuming, was very interested about what we were, and coming to find out, was he not?
Of course.
Yes. Yes.
But I left some zombies and skeletons guarding him, so
Well, I will tell you something.
I'll have to get back soon to refresh that spell.
It is
Kind of remark to myself.
I take a chance, but I put my faith in our Lord in this matters. We are reforming the Horn Society. Prince Zeech no longer wishes to serve his Iusian masters. He wishes to break free, and to do so, he needs help. If he were to break free of the Iusians now, well, that would be free game for one, the Iusians to come after him. But for others, the only thing that keeps the remnants of the Shieldlands or the Furundians or even the Ernstians from crushing him is his alliance with the Iusians. But if the Horn Society was to rise again in Red Hand, We would be his assurance. The Iusians are weak now. We are gathering our forces there, and we will once again reestablish the Horn Society. And then we will take the war to Ius, and we shall reclaim our lands, and we shall set ourselves up as the new masters of not just the Bandit kingdoms, but of the Horn Society's lands and Ius's. She actually gets like into it there for a second.
The music swells.
Yes, it does. There's some really sweet docking, like riff going on. Guitar solo going in the background.
Actually, Ashe is very, very excited by this entire idea at this point. He's kind of swept up in the fervor.
As you know, the Iusians have put a mark on all the Nerulians and the Hexter priests as well. This is not something that we will stand for. And we will reestablish ourselves, reestablish our domains and our churches and our flock.
And I bow and I say, long have I felt alone and abandoned in this matter.
Not anymore. We work secretly. We are not ready yet to spring fully this plan into action. We have other contingencies. As of right now, Nesmajin works in the Felreave to keep the Iusians' attention away from what we're doing down south here. And you know, Nesmajin he's another one of the hierarchs. And I had mentioned this earlier. You guys didn't know if it was just a rumor or if it was true, but there was a contingency of Horn Society guys that were in the Felreave that were doing guerrilla and fighting against the Iusians there, as well as all these other factions that are in this big ass forest. So, and as you might have guessed, Chief Olgin does not wish to serve Ius.
What is his role in all of this?
Well, he will take up his... I must speak quietly about this matter. As you know, humanoids are, well, lesser beasts. They never could have the power of us humans. And so, while he was always a loyal servant in the past, that's when the hobgoblins were divided into separate tribes. But now that they're all under Olgin's command, he wields a sizable force. We need his troops. We've promised him to be a hierarch. Something that'll never happen, though.
I should hope not.
Of course not. We will never have a non-human be a hierarch.
So he should be assassinated at the earliest, as soon as his usefulness is over.
When his usefulness has passed, he will be dealt with, and then we will break up his nation into the separate tribes so that they can be more easily handled again.
I would ask you a boon.
Yes.
My novice should be the one to strike the killing blow.
Oh, very well. That's something that might be arranged, but I do not know where our Lord calls you and what purpose he has for you.
Well, for now, we both travel to Red Hand.
This is true.
I would like to, actually, upon further reflection, I would like to bring those forces into your camp so that the Krasner forces can be separated and removed. I believe the Blood Festival shall last a few more days. We need a few more sacrifices.
Very interesting. But there is a problem with that. If I am correct, I gotta look. The Darts and Ganger is a spy.
He can be first.
For Krasner, is he not?
Yep.
He can go first.
He's going there because obviously Krasner is... Zeech can be a little bit overzealous, and obviously there's been enough of a rumor around for them to start sending spies down there to keep track of him and what's going on. If we were to just kill them all, that sends a very bad message. But if we were to use them to funnel false information, that would be even better. I don't think we should kill them.
I cannot deny a person their right to die.
No, of course not. But everyone has a duty to serve, and if their death being delayed serves the Lord, well.
Very well.
If
I can endure this.
so, you know, your guide, Alfor, he is one of Olgin's. He works for us.
I suspected that. I think to myself.
Right? But as far as the others go, yes, I understand your want and your need to dispatch with them, especially the spy. But if Krasner doesn't receive some sort of information, it'd be different if we knew how he contacted him. If we could continue to send his messages for him, then perhaps we could kill him.
So what false information do you want to be planted?
That Zeech and Red Hand are loyal subjects of the Old One.
Of course. And what shall we say we found here?
Slave trade. We are all slaves. Being
Yes.
brought down. It is not uncommon for Prince Zeech to buy slaves that Olgin's men procure from out of the Shield Lands and bring them down to Red Hand as forced labor. They're used to build his pirate ships and what have you. Prince Zeech is no fool. He realizes he needs as much military might as possible, and he doesn't have the funds. But in conjunction with us, we can give him some slaves, and it all looks legit. He's saying he's using the profits from his piracy to do so, after, of course, the tithe that goes to his master, his supposed master. You'll like Zeech. He's an amiable man, very understanding.
Excellent. With that, I say if there's nothing else, I should return to our camp before
And at this
Before
point,
we're
Rahly
missed.
attacks.
Yes.
Yeah.
We will wait a day before departing ourselves. Give you that head start towards Red Hand, so that we don't encounter each other on the road.
Very well.
Again, it has been a pleasure to meet you.
Yes, likewise, I'm sure.
And then that'll be it. I mean, you guys could do, if you have any other questions for her, you could ask. Aside from that,
I guess I don't. Is anybody else?
I'm good.
I'm not allowed to talk.
Talon's not allowed to talk.
So. Yeah, I think it's
Right.
time to go.
Right now in his head, Wyndon's like, okay, can I get a boat and just leave this whole continent behind?
Yeah.
You're so
the world
close to
can I
getting you
go?
your soul, man. We're almost there.
I know, right?
So let's return to our camp and see what fares there.
Okay. All right. So you guys go. She can't give you horses because you didn't
We
come
have,
up
we have
with it.
horses still.
Oh, that's right. You have horses that were. Oh gosh, man. Let's hope they're still there.
It's fine.
Yeah. We're just gonna just do a straight up roll. There's a really good chance that they're still there. So I'm gonna say that I have to beat a 15 for something bad to have happened to your horses. Or what do you guys prefer to roll?
I
wanna
mean, they're
know.
horses. They're tame. They stay
Yeah.
pretty much.
Yeah,
in the
I'm not
area.
worried about them
Chase
so
them
much.
away.
I'm not worried about them so much as maybe something coming across them.
Right.
Not
don't-
necessarily even killing them either. Maybe just spooking them. You know what I'm saying? So, really
Yeah.
depends on the role.
I don't want to be the one to have lost our horses, so Will, you can make that roll.
I'll
That's fine.
roll. I'm
All right.
I'm probably gonna get like a natural 20, but I'm usually rolling very low in this system here. 8.
There you go. Not a problem. Your horses are
Alright.
exactly where you left them. They seem a little bit thirsty and a little bit hungry, but they're there. So,
Okay.
all right. So you guys go, you get your horses, and you start riding. Now, in the morning, when you guys woke up, it was colder than it had been That night, there was definitely some cold weather blowing in. But after you find the horses and start on your way, going back to your camp, the first few flakes of snow start to drift down. And it's pretty cold, but not terribly cold. But the wind is starting to pick up, and that's probably your biggest problem out on the plains here is the wind. So as you guys ride, you go and you come across. It takes how long was it? You guys were camped how far away? It wasn't terribly far.
It wasn't very far.
It was less than an
20
hour,
minutes,
I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll say in just roughly over an hour's time, you guys make it to the place because it takes a little to get your bearings and what have you. And so a little over an hour, you start to come upon where the camp was, and it was in a depression or like a little whatever. And as you are cresting the hill and you start to come down, there are dead horses.
Yep, I knew it. Circle marks, and there's circle marks on the ground.
Well, there's not circle marks on the ground so much as there are. Well, first I'll tell you what you see from up on the top. There are dead horses.
Yep.
And you can see that there's equipment laid around. Okay. And that's about it. Now, the horses that are dead, there's 2 of them, but they've been like torn apart and they're not whole.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
There's just pieces and parts of them. Okay. You can actually see a hole in the ground. You can see the darkness of the hole that goes in. Are you going to get closer or?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, excellent. So as you guys start,
the sword comes out. I'm sorry,
Right.
Raven's Edge materializes through the shadows.
What's Raven?
Yeah, I loosened.
I swear to God.
her and,
Okay, so as you guys get closer and you start to come down, you do notice that there's some of those turned dirt holes as well as this one that's just open.
Yeah.
Yep.
Do I see any of like Rahly / Morgan's stuff?
No.
Are my zombies there?
Parts of them. It looks as if they were smashed.
They must have had to defend themselves.
Yep. That's definitely your interpretation. And there's blood as well, but surprisingly, not a lot. Pretty much the blood is mostly around the horses.
Since
horses
there's no
that are
immediate danger, I immediately collect Salus's bone pile. Tuck
First
it
things
away for
first.
Later.
Well, yeah, because
Priorities.
Salus is a big deal, man.
and we're getting close to being able to talk to her again. So
That's right. Gosh, I hope I remember her voice. I'll have to.
You can go back on YouTube / Mr. Adam
I
PL
can.
or listen to it on podcast, wherever you listen to podcasts.
There you go. Okay, so you collect that stuff. What are you guys doing?
I'm looking and listening around for any sight of danger, but I have a feeling it's under us at this point. So
Roll me a perception.
sure.
are there any actual bodies?
No,
Other than-
there's no bodies.
Yeah.
There's just horses. Okay.
14.
Yep, just 14. Okay, you don't see anything in particular.
I'm gonna look down the hole.
Okay, it's dark in there, of course, and it goes down like basically about, like the other one goes down like basically about 10 feet, and it's just darkness in there. And this one, the hole itself is roughly about 5 feet in diameter. So, And it's the same thing. It goes down, and it goes down into like a T connection with another tunnel, and it goes and it connects to him. As you guys are doing this, as Ashe is picking up the bones, as you were looking around, and then as Talon goes over with his black sword and looks down
Raven's
into the
Edge.
looks down into the hall, the wind starts picking up even more, and the drifting flakes of snow start turning into a lot of snow coming down.
So, jeez. Okay. Well, I can't see in the dark. I'm sure that Talon can.
I can.
I can't.
Okay, I didn't know if Ashe could or not, honestly, with his powers. So,
I can cast light on something, but
I think if we want to find at least Rahly / Morgan and maybe the other guys, we're gonna have to.
yeah, I need Morty around. I think for a few more days.
Yeah, Morty's not there either. Are you okay? Ashe, give me a perception roll.
Okay.
Morty.
24.
Wow.
Nice.
Ah, that is awesome. Okay, so you see in the ground, like over close by where you were picking up the bones and stuff, it's pretty easy to miss a finger.
Sticking out of the ground.
No, it's just like laying in the grass.
Oh, I picked that right up too. Of course.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Yeah, I mean,
Now-
that should
now-
go without saying.
Yeah.
Do I recognize it?
Yeah, actually, it's one of Morty's fingers because you fucking critted that goddamn roll. So you're like, huh, look, there's one of Morty's fingers.
I recognize that hangnail anywhere.
Yeah.
Not quite enough to turn into a zombie here, but very intriguing. So I'll tuck it away for later. He might need
Okay.
it.
He's gonna just reappear in his backpack.
He might.
He's gonna be hanging out there like a baby Bjorn.
You'll be traveling along and then all you feel is like a tap on your back. Hey, boss. Hey, boss. You want to open this up?
If Rahly
Hey.
is down in these tunnels, we need to attempt to find him.
Yeah. Yep. Of course we do. I just start like screaming at the sky. Of course we do.
It's like things were going right. We were going where we needed to go. I was going to get close.
And I just calm, I compose myself. Okay, fine.
And you're starting to think too that being in that hole might not be such a bad idea because
at least
of the
it's cuts
snow,
down the
yeah.
wind. Yeah,
it's turning into quite a blizzard.
Well,
I'll hop in.
Well, let's stable our horses in the mouth of the hole. So then we'll just hobble them right here.
Okay.
So they're
can we
in
get them
safe.
down in there?
It's 5 foot in diameter, so it's a little bit.
I was gonna
Yeah,
say, I
you-
don't think they're gonna fit.
They'll
No.
fit.
Yeah.
You just keep smushing him in there.
Actually,
We'll work them in.
if you wanted to, you could technically collapse part of the tunnel. I mean, it goes in two directions. You might be able to collapse it, and so that they could like get sort of down in there.
We need to know which
That's a
way.
great
Yeah.
idea.
Yeah, well, there is that.
I mean,
Yeah, we'll just get them. We'll just get them in, lay them down. That's all I got to do is just get them up to the edge.
So we're
and
gonna stick a
lay
horse
them down, and they'll go
through
right
a
in.
5-foot hole down 10 feet.
Actually, the thing is,
Oh,
you
there's
could
a
do
10-foot drop. Oh, I didn't get that. I was thinking
Yeah.
more like a
There's a-
wormhole.
there's a 10-foot drop.
Yeah,
A
but that-
slant.
So is Talon going to drop down in first and look
Yeah.
around?
yeah.
Okay, so you drop down first. Give me. I take it you're going to climb, or you could just
Yeah, I'll
jump.
climb down. I don't want to break my ankle
All right.
because that'll defeat the
Yeah,
purpose.
I'm not gonna make you roll for just
Yeah.
climbing down 10 feet
It's 10
because
feet. Yeah.
yeah, it's fair enough. And so basically, the tunnel's rather large. Horses could fit in it. if you could get them down there.
Oh yeah, but can't get him back out. So I'm not worried
Exactly.
about that anymore. So.
Yeah, because
No.
I thought
you
it was
guys.
a plant.
No. It's like a straight down sort of deal.
Okay.
And so the tunnel is tall enough. It's like it's a circle, but it's roughly 6 feet in like diameter all the way around.
Right.
So you could definitely, unless you're much over 6 foot, but you could definitely walk in it for sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll take off. I mean, I don't have much stored on my horse anyway, but like, if we should just get our stuff that we want off of these things and just set them
Yeah.
free.
I have like a pouch and a shield.
Yeah.
Like I don't have a lot of stuff.
I travel relatively light as well.
Yeah.
Okay, so then you guys get down and you get into the tunnel, and
And I'll just levitate myself down. I'll stick my feet
Mhm.
over the hole and activate the levitation, and then
you stick your feet over the hole, and then you just go ding. And you like-
Elevator down.
It's like, look at my trick.
Okay, so you guys get down into the tunnel, and I take it Ashe is going to cast some light.
yeah, I go ahead and cast light on my I don't know.
I'd like
shield,
to
I
stay
guess.
outside of that light.
You could scout ahead if that's
Yeah.
the case. Okay. Well, this is a little bit earlier than normal. This is just over 15 minutes earlier, but we're going to have to end it here.
Yeah.
Because this is going to lead into something else. And if you were to happen to stumble upon a maybe unconscious Rahly laying in the tunnel, that would help. But yeah, so we'll go ahead and we'll wrap this episode up here. And first of all, I just want to say thank you to everybody for tuning in, and thank you for watching episode 36 of Return to the Bandit Kingdoms. And let's go ahead and we'll just start signing out. Michael, we'll go ahead and start with you.
Yeah, bye. I guess that's about it. All I have to say.
All right. All right, Adam.
Hey, yeah, thanks again for watching. Check us out on YouTube/Mr. AtomPL for past episodes of both Return to the Bandit Kingdoms, where you can catch me here on Tuesdays, and also Ravana, where you can catch me here at 8 o'clock p.m. on Fridays. Assuming we ever hear from Jairus again. And yeah, there's also other stuff on YouTube/Mr. AtomPL, so just check through all of it.
Yeah, there you go. Steve?
I'm Steve, and thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week.
Yes. And I'm Will DM, as always. I'm on Ravana as well. I do other stuff, but I will go into that. And then if you're in the Denver area and going to Genghis Khan on Saturday and Sunday, I will be running an actual Bandit Kingdom game that there's still seats available for. And it will be canon, and what happens there will actually happen here
Cool.
as well. So, all right. So, but that's about it, guys. Thank you all for tuning in, and
Yeah.
peace out.
Adios.
Adios.